Have you ever had that feeling that you're talking to your cat and they just ignore you? Or worse, they look you in the eyes, meow, turn around, and walk away like they've got more important things to do. Anyone who lives with cats knows they're mysterious, independent, and often unpredictable. But do they really not understand anything we say? Or are they actually listening and processing everything in their own feline way? In this video, we're diving into the fascinating world of communication between humans and cats. We'll explore what they pick up when we speak, how they interpret our gestures and emotions, and what they're trying to tell us through their meows, glances, and subtle behaviors. And at the end, we'll share some tips to help you communicate better with your cat. If you enjoy learning more about your pet's behavior and want to give them a happier, healthier life, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We post daily videos with high-quality content, created with care and responsibility for people who truly love cats and dogs. By subscribing, you help the channel grow and continue bringing content that makes a real difference in the relationship between pets and their humans. Do cats understand words? When you talk to your cat, it might seem like they're completely tuned out. But the truth is, while cats don't understand human language the way we do, they're far more attentive than we give them credit for. Scientific studies have shown that cats can recognize specific sounds, especially those linked to repeated and meaningful experiences. This include, for example, the sound of their own name, the rustling of a food bag, or words you often use during interactions, like food, come, or no. They don't grasp the linguistic meaning of these words, but they learn to associate them with actions, emotions, or rewards. It's a form of associative learning, similar to what happens with dogs, but with one key difference. Cats are more selective. They only respond when they truly want to, or when they sense something interesting is involved. What's more, studies suggest that cats can distinguish their owner's voice from others. That means even if you're in a room full of people talking, your cat knows when it's you speaking to them. This vocal recognition strengthens your bond and shows that yes, they're paying attention, even if they don't make it obvious. So next time you talk to your cat, remember, they might not understand every word, but they're listening, recognizing, and often waiting for something that makes sense in their world. Body language matters more. While cats can recognize certain words and sounds, what truly shapes how they interpret our communication is the set of nonverbal signals we give off. For felines, body language, tone of voice, and even facial expressions are far more meaningful than the actual content of our words. Cats are incredibly observant. They pick up on subtle cues that often go unnoticed by us. A sudden movement, a shift in speech rhythm, or a tense facial expression can be read as a warning sign. On the other hand, a relaxed posture, a gentle tone, and slow gestures convey safety and calm. That's why even when we say something affectionate, if our tone is loud or our body is tense, the cat might interpret it as a threat. They're not trying to challenge or ignore us. They're simply reacting to what their instincts tell them is safe or risky. Cats are also capable of sensing our emotions. Research shows they can detect when we're sad, happy, or irritated, and often adjust their behavior accordingly. A cat might come closer when they sense their human is feeling down, or keep their distance when they pick up on tension in the room. This sensitivity to nonverbal communication is one of the reasons why connecting with cats takes more than just words. It requires presence, attention, and respect for their timing and space. When we align our body language with the intention behind what we're trying to say, the bond with our cat becomes much deeper and more genuine. How cats communicate with you. While cats don't speak human language, they have their own unique and surprisingly sophisticated ways of communicating with us. And what's most fascinating is that many of these behaviors are exclusive to their interactions with humans. In other words, they're not things cats do with each other. They've developed them specifically to connect with us. A clear example of this is meowing. Adult cats rarely meow at one another. This type of vocalization is, most of the time, directed at humans. It's as if they've learned that by making certain sounds, they can get our attention, express their needs, or even influence our actions. And anyone who lives with cats knows, Every meow has a different nuance. There's the hungry meow, the lonely meow, the complaining meow, and even the affectionate one. Another fascinating behavior is the famous slow blink. When a cat looks at you and slowly blinks, they're showing trust. It's a gesture of vulnerability and affection, like saying, "I feel safe with you." And the best part is, when you return that slow blink, you're also communicating with them, reinforcing that sense of safety and connection. There's also the act of rubbing against your legs, arms, or even your face. While this has a territorial function, the cat is marking you with their scent. It's also a way of showing closeness and belonging. It's like they're saying, "You're part of my world." These signals show that communication between humans and cats goes far beyond words. It's built day by day, through gestures, sounds, and looks. And the more we pay attention to these signs, the better we can understand what our cats are trying to tell us. Tips to communicate better with your cat. Now that you know cats can recognize sounds, interpret our body language, and have their own ways of communicating, you might be wondering how to improve that exchange with your cat in everyday life. The first tip is consistency. Using the same words and tone of voice for specific situations helps your cat form clearer associations. For example, if you always say food when it's time to feed them, they'll quickly learn what that word means. But if you use a different word each day, the communication becomes confusing. Another important tip is to respect your cat's time and space. Unlike dogs, cats don't enjoy forced interactions. They come closer when they feel safe, and that's when the most genuine communication happens. Pushing for contact or speaking insistently can have the opposite effect: distance and distrust. Paying attention to your cat's reactions is also essential. Every animal has its own personality and boundaries. Some enjoy talking and respond with meows, while others prefer silence and observation. When you tune into these signals, you start to understand what works best for your cat specifically. And finally, remember that communication with cats is built with patience. It doesn't happen instantly. It develops over time, based on mutual trust. When you communicate with respect, attention, and affection, your cat notices and responds in their own way. Communication between you and your cat might not happen through words, but it absolutely exists, and it runs deep. When you observe, respect, and respond to the signals your cat gives you, you're building a relationship based on trust, affection, and mutual understanding. And in the end, that's what matters most. If this video helped you better understand your cat, share it with friends and family who also love their pets. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now tell us in the comments, how does your cat communicate with you? Do they meow a lot? Give you slow blinks? Is there a word they clearly recognize? We love reading your stories. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.